mood, he gave up that body too. 48. Ye ahi yata mukha kesa ahashyate anga janjnire sarpa prasarpata krura naga bhoga rukandara. Sannyasa. The synonyms. Ye, which, ahiyanta, dropped out, amuta, from that, kesa, hairs, ahaya, snakes, they, anga, oh dear Vidura, jajnire, took birth as, sarpa, snakes, prasarpata, from the crawling body, krura, envious, naga, cobras, bhoga, with hoods, uru, big, gandhara, whose necks. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. O Vidura, the hair that dropped from the body transformed into snakes. And even while the body crawled along with his hands and feet contracted, there sprang from its ferocious servants and nagas with their hoods expanded. 49. Sa atmanam manyamana kritakritayam eva ta bhu tada manum sarasyante manasa loka bhavanam. Synonyms. Sa, Lord Brahma, Atmanam, himself, Manyamana, considering, Krita Kritam, had accomplished the object of life, Eva, as if, Atmabhu, born from the Supreme, Tada, then, Manu, the Manus, Sasarya, created, Ante, at the end, Manasa, from his mind, Loka, of the world, Bhavanam, promoting the welfare. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. One day Brahma, the self-born, the first living creature, felt as if the object of his life has been accomplished. At that time, he evolved from his mind the Manus who promoted the welfare activities of the universe. 50. Devyam tu su asrajat shivyam puram purusam atmavan tan drishtit ye pura shrita prasanna mush prajapatim. Synonyms. Tebhyam, to them, saw Lord Brahma, Ashrajat, gave Shivya, his own, Puram, body, Purusam, human, Atmavan, self-possessed, Tan, them, Vrishta, on seeing, ye, those who, Pura, earlier, Srishta, were created, the demigods, Gandharvas, etc., who were created earlier. Prasas Su, uploaded. Prajapatim, Brahma, the Lord of created beings. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The self-possessed creator gave them his own human form. On seeing the Manus, those who are created earlier, the demigods, the Gandharvas, and so on, applauded Brahma, the Lord of the universe. This is the fifth verse of the day, the 51. Aho etat jagat srishtam suktam patate kritam pratisthita kriya yasmin sakam annam ada amahe. Synonyms. Aho, oh, etat, this, jagat srishta, O creator of the universe, sukratam, well done, bata, indeed, te, by you, kritam, produced, pratisthita, established soundly, kriya, all ritualistic performances, yasmin, in which, sakam, along with this, annam, the sacrificial oblation, adama, we shall share, hey, oh. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. They prayed, O creator of the universe, we are glad that you have produced is well done. Since ritualistic acts have not been established soundly in this human form, we shall all share the sacrificial oblations. Purport by His Divine Grace of the 51st verse. The importance of sacrifice is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, third verse, third chapter, verse 10. The Lord confirms that that in the beginning of creation, Brahma created the Manus along with the ritualistic sacrificial method and blessed them. Continue the sacrificial rites, and you will be gradually elevated to a proper position of self-realization and will also enjoy material happiness. All the living entities created by Brahma are conditioned souls and are inclined to lord it over the material nature. The purpose of sacrificial ritual is to revive gradually the spiritual realization of the living entities. That is the beginning of life within this universe. These sacrificial rituals, however, are intended to please the Supreme Lord. Unless one pleases the Supreme Lord, or unless one is Krishna conscious, one cannot be happy either in the material enjoyment or in spiritual realization. ओम अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिंधु वच पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। लीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। So thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha. Today we are discussing 5 verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, and these 5 verses are within the chapter where Maitreya Muni and Vidurji is discussing about the secondary creation, and in the first of the 5 verses, which is 47, Brahmaji is seen that he is full of chinta, he's full of concern, and through that concern, and he kind of lied down, full stretch his body, and he was concerned, and he was thinking that whatever he has created prior to this, Gandharvas and the Vidyadharas, and these wonderful personalities, and he was not very happy with that portion of the creation. So, and he lay down, and he was very concerned, he was full of chinta, and he also had anger. Often when you have chinta, or when you have concern, subsequently that leads to anger or krodha. And with that anger and krodha, he stretched out, and then he lay down, and his hair dropped in the 48th verse, and from the hairs snakes emanated, and from the crawling body where he was lying down, from the crawling body, the cobras or the nagas were with the hood and with bit of a linked neck, it emerged. So here in 47-48, Maitreya Muni is explaining that when Brahmaji was starting the secondary creation, he started everything. He procreated, the kinnaras, the celestial bodies, and now he was not very happy with what he has created. He was worried, he was concerned, and because of his creation, he was not very happy. Sometimes you end up doing a project and you are not very happy. You feel you are angered by your deeds, and with frustration, um, or with a feeling of anger where you're not focused totally, because when you are angry, your mind doesn't align with your thought process, and you are in a situation. So he was very angry, and then with when he was lying down, from his hair, snakes took birth, and then also the nagas or the cobras were born. So just and then subsequently, Mitra Muni is explaining to Vidurji in 49 verse, which so he realized that he has created these personalities, and then he was meditating, and he was trying to think how I can promote welfare in this world, and then he was constantly thinking, there should be a set of individuals who, if I create, they will promote welfare, they will procreate, they will multiply, and from that mind, this is that verse where Brahmaji is creating manus. Manus are essentially created from the mind of Brahmaji, and here they are created for the welfare. And then in the fourth verse of today, we have 5 to go. We have 5 totally. And in this fourth verse, what he is essentially saying, what Maitreya Muni is essentially saying, is he has created the demigods, Gandharvas, who were earlier procreated by Brahmaji, and seeing that Brahmaji has created uh, Manus, who are essentially the human beings, uh, who are essentially going to sort of bring welfare to this universe. The demigods started bestowing their blessings, and they are applauding Brahmaji for creating this personality. They didn't do it when Brahmaji created serpents and nagas, but they have realized that with all the good and bad which has been created in this world, unless there is bad, we can't appreciate good. They have realized that with the snakes and nagas which were procreated just before, now with evolution and creation of Manuji, this world is going to be a better place. And based on that, these Gandharvas, demigods, they are bestowing their blessings. And then they are also telling, "O Creator of the universe, Jagat Srashta," um, and there is a relevance of the ritualistic performance which is being done to really uh, offer the sacrificial oblations because of the creation of Manu. So when you think about all these 5 verses, what do you think? What do we conclude in our mind? That whenever Brahmaji is engulfed in anger and in envy, he is procreating things which are detrimental to this universe. And then when he is happily settled and he has realized what he has created, and he is doing something for the better of this. So beautiful set of verses to ponder today. So Brahmaji is with Chinta, and he has anger, and from the hairs, snakes appeared, and from the crawling body, he was positioned. The Nagas appeared. So from this, we should learn that it is also mentioned in various different scriptures that if we have a lot of proudness, and we are with the pride, we deal with individuals, and if the pride is crushed, you realize that you are no more the best, then you arouse that sense of envy, or that sense wherein you don't feel happy when you see something good in others. And snake in this context is considered to be the most cruel and envious living entity. And it is mentioned that if you have a lifestyle full of envy, which Duryodhana was, um, and because of envy, he, even if all the right things were happening around him with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uh, expressing all the truth which is possible, he couldn't assimilate that, and because of that, he was the cause of his degradation. So it is mentioned in the scriptures that if you, as you know, envy is one of the six anarthas, and if envy is filled in you or any individual, then that person eventually is going to be a snake in the subsequent life. It is mentioned in various different scriptures. So the snake can be charmed and controlled by mantras and herbs, but a person who is envious cannot be controlled by anyone, because always he will be sulking with the happiness around. So that will build negativity in his life, and his life will be filled with negativity wherein he cannot see anything good in others. This world, if you think about, is running because there are certain good people. This world is not bad. The world is not imaginary. It's for the good. There are good people who are around. If a person tries to be a fly and always reaches for the stool, that's the consequence which is going to happen. So that's why our gurus and our acharyas have mentioned not to be a fly in our life where the fly seek to get to a stool all the time. However, they want us to be bees who looks for honey all the time. And that's the reason why today you could have slept or overslept, but you decided to hear something nice, and you sought to hear from the scriptures. That's why you're around. So the ability of uh, feeling bad at others when something good happens to others is nothing but envy. And there are courses around how to curb envy, because unless uh, we curb that element of envy, we can't prosper in life. And uh, then eventually, after getting frustrated, Brahmaji procreated Manu from his mind, and he was applauded by the Gandharvas. And as Srila Prabhupada is quoting from 3.10 in his purport, he is amplifying the reason for sacrifice whenever we do something good. When somebody gets a house, or somebody gets promoted, when somebody gets a good stepping stone or starts a business, then there is an element of sacrifice, because it is felt that that material benefit is because of the Supreme, and as the Supreme has given that to him, it's a process where you want to reciprocate to the Supreme by offering. That's why this yajna is created. So that's why Srila Prabhupada is quoting from Bhagavad Gita 3.10, where the importance of sacrifice is done. So envy, as you know, comes from pride. It's one of the six anarthas. Hiranyakashipu was envious of Vishnu, and when that envy increased and he saw his son glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he started envying his son. So this envy is so contagious that you can start envying somebody, but over a period of you growing into this anartha, can start envying even the near and dear. And that is where there is a wonderful pastime where one of the demigods, his Vidyadhara, and Vidyadharas have the ability. They're very beautiful looking, and they are very effulgent, and they can fly in aeroplanes. So this demigod Vidyadhara saw sage Angira, and Angira was a sage. He was a bit crumpled, and he was not great looking. And when he saw Angira, he cursed. He kind of derided sage Angira because he was very good looking. He was um, uh, very fancy. However, when he saw somebody, he derided, and in that uh, situation, Angira Muni Angira, Muni Angira is one of the Saptarshis. To just give a background around Angira, he is very potent. And seeing this behavior from Vidyadhara, who was so proud of his beauty, he cursed Vidyadhara to become a snake. So, because if somebody is so proudy and so envious and deriding others, and cannot stand the good qualities of others, he doesn't deserve to be a person. He doesn't deserve to have this exquisite body. And with that, sage Angira cursed him to become a snake. So you everybody aspires to born from a decent family, have riches, be learned and very beautiful. But at the end of the day, if you do not curb that instinct to become compassionate, get rid of this poisons in our body, such as anarthas, as the six anarthas. And the greatest anartha is nothing but this envy, our ability to not stand somebody. And that is where humility is so much glorified in our movement. Because if you're not humble enough, you cannot grow or you cannot curb that anartha. And this Vidyadhara, after he went to this extent that this serpent Vidyadhara, who in his later life he started attacking Nanda Maharaj, and because once you are full of envy, you become so blind you can't distinguish between right and wrong. He uh, he attacked Nanda Maharaj, uh, the Lord Krishna's father, in around Nandagram, and there the lotus feet of, and seeing that people were trying to beat the snake, who in his prior life was Vidyadhara, and Lord Krishna appeared and through his beautiful lotus feet put the lotus feet on Vidyadhara, subsequent snake life, and then uh, the snake was liberated by the touch of the lotus feet of Krishna. So as you can see, envy is dangerous. Forget about human beings. Even the Vidyadharas or the celestial personalities, by virtue of their envy, can become snakes. So we should realize that snake is a very cunning, envious personality. They hide the ability, they hide, and they try to attack on you at times when it is not very convenient. And so it's a very challenging quality. It's a very bad quality to have the qualities of the snake. And this snake mentality, the snakes are around in the fields, but the snake mentality is very much there in human beings. And when we take this words to our heart, which Brahmaji is starting out to kind of procreate, the secondary procreation, we should recognize that snakes may be on the fields, but the snake mentality is in our hearts, and what we should do to curb it. Because if we do not curb that envious mentality, our ability to not glorify the great souls or appreciate. Because if you do not have the power to appreciate, let us not depreciate. Because this ability to depreciate goes from person to person to person to person in Prajalpa, and that can create havoc in a society. It can create uh, differences among societies. So, more we shun or get rid of envy from our life. Envy is supposed to be a very challenging thing to get rid of. But by association of devotees, by hearing Krishna Katha every day as a medicine, this disease of envy can be cleared from our hearts, and we can start feeling better. And once this envy comes, you don't like others, you stay within negativity. You stay within negativity, your blood pressure and your other attributes goes up, and then it becomes a health issue. So what starts as something spiritually potent, which is mentioned in so many scriptures. Sage Angira has ascertained it, certified it through the scriptures. We all should follow. We should recognize the challenge we get into by becoming envy, which can tremendously hamper our ability to stay as human beings, because if we degrade in this life, there are consequences. So beautiful set of verses to ponder, which highlights the importance of how to stay away from envy, and also to the 50 and 51 speaks about the importance of sacrifice in our life. Whatever we do, tax times are coming. We're going to do our taxes before April, but this beautiful world is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we do not pay any taxes, which actually belongs to Him. So more and more we sacrifice our time, our energy, our money, or whatever, it you're essentially uh, taking care of the Prakriti, which is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and where we are not paying taxes, we're using the resources, we're using the beautiful hills, rivers, which has been beautifully created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the sacrifice highlights the fact that we have a responsibility and duty to give it back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is not asking for it, but He's teaching through the scriptures about our duty to take care of. That's why the sacrifice which the Gandharvas are doing is important, and that's why whenever a kid is born, whenever you enter into a new job or a house, you end up doing some sacrifice so that Lord can come and be seated in the house or in your hearts, so that you can prosper more and more. So beautiful set of 5 verses where the importance of envy, how to shun envy, has to be discussed in the context of consequences being a serpent, and also the importance of sacrifice in our lives, as to why we should end up giving sacrifices, donating to charity, which fosters Krishna consciousness. So with that, I'd like to end here. We can go on and on about these beautiful topics on envy and sacrifice. But so thank you for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hemajaganath. We'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. And we'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Ram
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Ram
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare. Shina Shingo, Jaina Shingo, Jai Jaina Shingo, Praladesha, Jaya
Jaya
Padma,
Padma
Mukha
Mukha
Padma
Padma
Bringa,
Bhingam. Ugram Veeram
Ugravi
Mahavishnu
Vishnu
Jalatam
Turantam Sarvato
Sarvatomukha
Mukham Nrsingham
Nrsingham
Bhishana
Vishanam
Bhadra
Bhadram
Mrityam Mrityam Namamyam.
Namamyam.
Nrsinga Bhagwan ki jai,
Ki
Prahlad
jai.
Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Samar Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa
Vanchakalpatarvasya
sindhu bhaya vacha
kripasinda bhavet
patitanam pavane
patitanam
Vaishnavebhyo
pavnebhyo
namo
Vaishnavebhyo
namah.
namo namah.
वैष्णववृंद की जय।
Jai.
बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील
Jai.
प्रभुपाद की जय। जय
Jai.
प्रेमानंदे।
Hari 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 Bo.
Hemajaganath Pr. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
everybody. Hari Bo. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank